16-time world champion Ric Flair once said, WrestleMania is what it is, and that's the mecca of sports entertainment. Now, you might be wondering, well, what makes it that? The star, the debuts, the stars, the venue, the returns, or just the performer? Well, it's actually a combination of all of that. And so today, I am going to show you how to book WrestleMania 33 to be a 5-star pay-per-view. Now, there isn't really anything you need except maybe a piece of paper, a pencil, and any way to look at Hall of Famers, the current roster, dead or alive. It doesn't matter because this is kind of just whatever you want to do, but I'm showing you my way, but you can basically do whatever you want. So, before you can even begin, you first have to book your venue, because you're going to need a place to host it. So, I have a few examples here. Ford Field, Orlando Citrus Bowl, MGM Grand Arena, Qualcomm Stadium, or Madison Square Garden. For this one, we will use Orlando Citrus Bowl. And it needs to be either like an NFL stadium or a big NBA arena. Now you have to look at the roster and decide who are the good guys and bad guys, otherwise known as heels and faces. Now, you might be asking yourself, why do I need to know this? Well, it's going to help you when you go to make your compelling stories and just the matches themselves. It's going to make them more interesting. This is going to lead us into the compelling stories or storylines for each match. Now, this will basically be like kind of you can have like with it almost like your heroes and your villains, because you have like someone to root for in each. Now that you have a venue, good guys and bad guys, and compelling stories, you can book the pre-show, main show, and who's going to be performing. So first, you book the pre-show. Now this doesn't officially start the event, but it's just a little mini beginning, which features wrestlers who are not well liked or just undercard and that no one really cares about. So for this one, I've chosen Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Now you move on to your main show. The main show should be an epic welcome by the host. So for here we have, for examples, are The Rock, Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Lita, Sting, or Obama. But for this we will use Bret Hart. Now we move on to our preliminary match, or a match just to get things started. So for this, it's like a get you going or get you hyped match. So I've decided to do James Ellsworth and Gilbert. Now we move on to big matches. So the first big match should be a rivalry match. So we'll have a Raw Women's Fatal 4-Way for the Raw Women's title, where Bayley over here defends against Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. Our next big match should include The Undertaker, because he's always fighting at WrestleMania. And so someone he hasn't fought yet, so we have John Cena. Next up, we have a superstar and celebrity or athlete. And considering these two met once before at WrestleMania 32 in a battle royal, I decided for Big Show versus Shaquille O'Neal. Then we move on, and the final big match is a match between two hardcore legends to determine who is the best hardcore legend between Raven and Rhino. Now, before we go to our main events, we will have a performer as WrestleMania always does for whatever reason. Some examples here would be Rob Zombie, Daft Punk, AC/DC, and others. For this, I've chosen Bon Jovi. Now we can move on to our main events. Our first main event would be Goldberg defending his Universal title against his biggest rival, Brock Lesnar. And finally, our last match. This should be for the richest prize in WWE. So we will have Bray Wyatt defend against AJ Styles and Randy Orton. So now that you've picked your venue and you've decided who the good guys and bad guys are and booked booked the show, you now have the perfect match card for a 5-star, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 WrestleMania event. So as Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, WrestleMania is the biggest event you can be on in sports, but I still like to call it WrestleMania. I mean, pro wrestling, and that's what it is. It's the biggest stage you can be on.